Hey race fans, this is a replay, but to be able to watch live and hear from the drivers and see the pre and post race reaction, download and subscribe to the Trans Am app. Available on both Android and iOS, this is the only place to watch the 2021 season of Trans Am live, with over 10 hours of coverage each and every weekend. Live timing, results and news, as well as pre and post interviews, as our global live stream takes you to the heart of the action. To subscribe, download the Trans Am app or scan the QR code to be part of the fastest growing series in America. Subscriptions for the race weekend are just $9.99 and $59.99 for a full season. So come and join us for the 2021 season on the Trans Am app, the only way to see the races live and get your muscle car media. They roll and rumble across the line and they come towards our commentary position and roll away for the start. Chris Dyson gets away brilliantly and Dyson leads this race. Early Francis Jr. is side by side with Dreesy. Francis goes into second place, but it's going to be Chris Dyson who leads this race into the Andretti curve. Around the outside goes the 99. Dreesy under pressure here.
Well, Justin got a great run there on the outside. That's one place here that you can find grip outside of the line, right? Thomas is there's the Andretti hairpin.
Good start by Chris Dyson, no question about it.
Absolutely, he got a great jump at the start there. Ernie wanted to tuck in behind, and looks like strategy's already playing in their favor.
So, when do you start, we just heard from Tommy, that he wanted to get a good place at the start. He's done that, but when do you kind of start to formulate a plan?
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's always evolving, right? I mean, your plan, your best laid plans get put to rest pretty easy once the green flag drops. Tommy plan looked like it's coming right to him. He wanted to get at least one spot or slot in right where he's at. He did that. Although Justin looks like he's up there in P3 now, and Justin looks like he's on a mission and has something to prove.
Yeah, no question. How frightening is that corkscrew? It looks frightening, but what is it in real life, Tom? Yeah. Chris Dyson is a man on a mission, I think.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Chris has been driving inspired. We watched him come from the tail to win the race at Sebring. He had some struggles there. Road Atlanta did not have the performance. I know he won it with the weather the way it was. But yeah, he's absolutely driving inspired. His performance last weekend at Sonoma was another one for the books. On board Simon Gregg here, the Peter Gregg Foundation car. Another thing here, folks, we talked about this yesterday, is there's a great scholarship out there, $100,000 scholarship. Get on the petergreggfoundation.org and sign yourself up. It's a wonderful opportunity for these kids in the STEM programs.
Yeah, no question about it. And already, Ernie Francis Jr. starting to make some inroads on the leader, Chris Dyson. Dyson really wants to get a win here. His tail is high because of what happened in Sonoma, where he was on sublime form. Look at that Eric Joyner car. Love that car. That's an ex-Patrick Long IMSA car.
And it shows, right, the performance out there. It's mixing right in there with the TA cars, these 850-plus horsepower giants, and it's right there in the mix of them. So it's showing what a powerful factory car Porsche that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool technology on that car. A lot of grip, a lot of downforce, which makes a huge difference at this racetrack.
What would be the major difference between driving that car and a TA car? I mean, obviously they've got the power, but given this layout, wouldn't it suit the Porsche more?
Absolutely. It's all about cornering performance and braking performance, which is what the Porsche always does really, really well. And there's not a lot of straightaways here, so it's all about carrying that speed.
Well, the top three are pulling away from Tommy Dreesy in fourth place at the moment. Then, as Boris said, and I hope he's got himself sorted, but Boris, you never count him out. He knows. And Adam, you were saying this to me that, it's a long race, but it's a short race. It's really it really is a weird mind meld of racing hard. I mean, you said yesterday that Thomas only races 10/10. That's the only way he knows how to race. but I mean, can you do that for an hour?
You have to, because that's what your competition is doing, and that's the fine balance that you have to do too. Is being at that 10/10 without, and giving yourself some race car at the end to work with. There, Simon coming through their turn 5, it looks like, and car looks great out there, and Simon's really enjoying himself and having a fun time out there. And then you have Humad behind him right there chasing him, and then you got Eric Joyner flashing the lights, trying to get his attention, trying to distract him as we go up the hill into the corkscrew, because he feels he's much faster. He must feel like he's getting much more corner speed out of that. But back to what Boris, they're doing a great job as far as Pancho Weaver car, and they're just struggling with the ratios, like I said, a little bit, but technique and DEI may play pivotal roles to get them out here, and I know that they want to give a really, really good showing for them as well.
Thomas, there's no real straights here. I mean, you've got that Rahal straight, and this effectively is a straight, but do you set up the car for the corners?
Absolutely, yeah. Cornering speed is everything, and it's a really smooth racetrack, so you can run the car lower, you can run it stiffer, you can really maximize the cornering performance here in ways you can't at other racetracks. But line choice is important, so you're going to see the leaders, they're going to be really accurate, they're going to be putting the car on the apex curbing like you see Chris and Ernie doing there, and that consistency. So racing at 10/10ths for an hour long, staying consistent like they're doing, that's really the challenge. Keeping the car underneath you, minimizing the slip angle. I'll tell you what, I like the look of Justin Marks here. His pace is much, much better than I anticipated, and he's keeping these guys honest.
And he's been quick all weekend.
Tommy just really laid down a lap too, at 27.3. He's just laid down the fastest lap of the race, and he started closing this gap. So looking at this number 8 Slick Mist is got the target set on that Coca-Cola Corvette in front of him.
Yeah, he has. He's caught up some, hasn't he, in the last lap or so. Boris is still in touch, but of course, if you're looking at the top of your screen, if you're new to Trans Am, this is lap 4 of 45, but then you'll see the other side of it that says 109, and that means it's an hour and 9 minutes to the end, because if we do have caution and things slow down and the laps become slower, then it becomes a clock race rather than a lap race, and we had that happen yesterday, and so you have to watch both things, and obviously we want to get the full 45 in, but you never know.
Yeah, that's exactly right, absolutely. Trans Am does a great job and working really hard to make sure that they get to that 45 lap count. They were going to come up a couple laps short yesterday for the TA2 race, so they called it a timed race, which was absolutely the right call, so that everyone knows when to really pull out all the stops when that white flag drops. But David Pinterick right here doing a great job, getting on board with him in that Kreider Racing Ford Mustang. He is a joy to be around. I know he was just in the commentary booth here with you, Jonathan, and just a real knowledgeable guy, loves racing, has so much fun here, and really just loves being a part of this paddock. And you can see he's an intense guy. Looks like they got their camera angle figured out today too, Jonathan.
Yes, they do. Yeah, we had a rather strange angle yesterday. David currently in 6th place. He said to me he wants a top 5 in his Ford Mustang, and of course he raced in those colors in that Cadillac for so long that I got thrown yesterday, but the 57 is very much a Ford Mustang these days. And just behind him is Amy Ruman, who didn't have a good qualifying session. Amy in 7th at the moment, Simon Gregg 8th, Hamid Malsoud in 9th position, and Eric Joyner in 10th. Still hasn't managed to get past Masoud just yet. There he is.
Yeah, it's a good battle developing right here. Very patriotic man is Dave Pinterick with that all-American looking car there. As he comes through the rainy curve here, coming down here into turn 10. Turn 10 is such an important corner to get down. We saw that yesterday, that Rafa was getting such a good run through there. It was giving him that energy down into turn 11 to make the moves that he was making.
Yeah, we saw several cars going very wide in SVRA at turn 11. It really sucks you in when you're trying to take on somebody and get that drive. You're thinking of two things. You're thinking of braking as late as possible, but getting drive out of 11. But if you get either one of those wrong, you end up wide.
Yeah, that's the challenge of this racetrack, is that the slowest corner on the whole racetrack is preceded by the two fastest corners on the whole racetrack. There's definitely a shift, and you got to be patient.
Talking of patience, what's Joyner going to do? Where's the best place to do a clean move? Because Masoud's not taking any notice.
He's not looking patient at all. He wants to make this move, and in that Porsche with that corner speed, he's probably going to be looking to surprise Humade somewhere coming down the second half of the lap.
Yeah, he's definitely looking for Masoud to make a mistake. That's going to be his best shot with the horsepower of the TA car. The difference is he's definitely looking for him to slip a little bit somewhere to give him that drive that he needs. Hopefully up the hill, I bet is what his guess would be, is to try and get a shot to surprise him, as you said, to give a little surprise attack up at the corkscrew. But yeah, definitely some good challenges here.
And that's Rob Crocker we're looking at right now, currently in 16th place, chasing Rudy Revek. and looking very good indeed. And you can see the dash gives you all the information where he is on track, the speed he's going at the moment, and that's just over 100 miles an hour. And yeah, I love these onboards, these live onboards, because we really feel like we're with you. And I know my two co-commentators here don't need to be told where they are on the track, but it does give you an indication of whether something's wrong or they're not braking as late as you might or whatever. It's a good indicator, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful. The telemetry for our fans to see that at home is a wonderful tool to be able to see, because a lot of our fans, if they're not a casual fan, they're a racer themselves. So being able to see what a Trans Am car is able to drive like, or see what an XGT or Super GT car drives like, braking points, throttle pickup, and things like that, it's wonderful to watch. I have a blast watching the TA2 races up here and seeing your all's data, Thomas, and seeing how the different driving styles that you all have.
Oh, it's a game changer. To be able to see that in real time is amazing.
For sure.
And here's your SGT man, Justin Oakes, 13th overall. But Justin Oakes leading the way in SGT at the moment. We've got distinctive battles, SGT, XGT, and of course the TA at the front. Justin Oakes has had a good season so far, starting off very well indeed, and he's pedaling well down in 13th place at the moment.
Yeah, getting a good slide out of it there. You know, we've been seeing some dirt track races here the last couple of days from the booth, but yeah, nice shot of the corkscrew there into the Wayne Rainey curve.
Yeah, there's been some really good moves at Wayne Rainey curve this weekend, and there's no question that well, Thomas, you were saying it in the pre-run to this. You think that these three corners is where you make up time. Why is that?
Yes. Well, there's more than one way to do it correctly. And if you can find a way that works for you, you can find a lot of lap time there. And I always talk about, you know, in Rainy Corner, if you're not almost crashing, you're not going fast enough. It's a really exciting piece of racetrack.
But is it gear ratios? Is it just the line, or what is it?
It's line and footwork. There's a lot of different ways you can approach that corner for sure.
Boris said, talking of approaching, is approaching Tommy Dreesy.
And I'd like to know what happened to Justin Marks. He lost a couple of spots there. He dropped from 3rd to 5th, and Dreesy, and this gap between Dreesy and Boris really shortened up in a big way, so and became a race. And Dreesy lost touch with the front there, so this is very interesting. But these two up front, the champ, the 7-time champ Ernie Francis Jr. up against Chris Dyson here. Like we said, Dyson driving inspired, something to prove. He wants to beat Ernie in this championship more than anything, and Ernie's probably up for his biggest challenge that he's had in the time in his TA career here.
Well, let me ask you this, Adam. Let me put you in Ernie's car for a second. You want to win the race, you want to get the points, you know that your rival over the season is going to be Chris Dyson and several others, but with these 850 brake horsepower cars, you've got to think of tyre management, because if you go hell-bent for leather on every lap, we talked about being 10-10s, but you're going to wear the tyres out, surely.
Yeah, and I'm guessing here, as smart of a racer as Ernie is, Ernie's running a pace. If he's this close to Dyson, it must be a pace where Ernie feels comfortable that he's not sliding the car too much and wearing the car out too much. But he also, as I say that, he's sliding all over the place coming out of 11. But, you know, I honestly think if he really pressures Dyson into wearing the car down, you know, the strategy that Boris was talking to me that he had going into this, and that was Boris' strategy, was to let everyone drive their cars down, and he was going to save something for the end. I think that's what we're looking at here, and as a possibility of what might be happening. And so only time will tell. We're only 10 laps into this 45-lap event, and it's looking like a good, clean race out here too, Thomas.
For sure. I mean, it looks like it's a battle for first and second, and a battle for third and fourth. But I'm impressed with the pace of these two leaders. They're really setting a high bar, and this race might come back to Boris. It looks like he's doing a good job taking care of his car.
Thomas, you're absolutely right. They're half a second quicker than those behind him at the moment. So Dyson and Francis really, really laying some laps down. I say that Tommy Dreesy's actually just did a 27.3. Boris said a 27.5. So Boris up to speed for sure as we look at Paterick again.
Yeah, Paterick working around some lap traffic here. He's got Ken Thwaites, looks like right behind him. Ken Thwaites had made his TA2 debut yesterday and brought it home in a top 20 finish.
He's going to be exhausted by the end of the weekend.
I tell you, you know, oh no, I'm sorry, that's Simon Gregg. My apologies. That's Simon Gregg right behind him. So this is a good battle. These two have been battling on a Trans Am racetrack tours for a long, long time. They're great friends. They really enjoy each other's company, and racing against each other. They always give each other the polite gentleman amount of room, but it's always a hard race. So it'll be exciting to see if Simon Gregg and that Peter Gregg Foundation, a beautiful livery, if it gets up there and is able to mix it up. So that's going to be an exciting race developing there. But you can see Ernie is laying down the patches. I am really This is something, this is not what I would expect out of Ernie, would be using up the car like he's doing. We talked about this morning the troubles that he had at Sebring, where he burned the tires off at Sebring. So, you know, I would hope that he kind of paces himself down a little bit here and let Dyson go check himself out if he wants.
You know, if Ernie's frustrated, I understand, because Chris's momentum this year has been really, really impressive. He's focused, he's clean, and he's really, really good at racing up through the pack, as he proved to us at Sebring. Right now, he's looking pretty comfortable up front, so Ernie might need to prove a point here and get in front of him earlier than later.
Talking of Sebring, and impressive, what on earth was going on with you at Sebring? What a race!
Yeah, pretty motivated.
To say the least.
We knew you were beating yourself up and going, right, damn it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of turn 3 at Sebring.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Thomas had a moment at turn 3, but then got angry with himself as he knew everybody else was watching, and he won the race anyway on the last lap.
Textbook brilliant pass into 17, by the way. That was something.
That
was something for the storied books there for yourself, and to put in your highlight reel for sure. And I'm sure it already is, but that was an impressive pass on someone that is absolutely no slouch behind the wheel, being Rafa Matos. So
yeah, that's the best thing, is to be able to race against talent like that. I mean, that's the best part of Trans Am, in my opinion.
For sure, couldn't agree more.
On board with Rob Crocker in SGT.
This is the West Coast battle here,
yes.
too. This is a battle within the battle, right? Revick and Rob Crocker are here. They're working for the West Coast. This is 15th and 16th overall, but this is for the win in the West Coast SGT Championship.
How about Rudy driving that old stock car around? Yeah. There's not a lot of modern technology on that thing, and he is absolutely wheeling that thing to keep it ahead of that you know, clearly modern Porsche.
He looks like he is having so much fun in that thing, because you know, you can slide that thing around and it still wants to go fast, you know, for the class he's in. So I mean, that guy is looking like he's having a blast out here. Like you said, he's up against the most modern stuff out there in a Porsche.
And he's loving every minute of it. Rudy's always he's always got a smile on his face in the paddock every time you see him. He's a great guy. Love seeing him out there having fun.
There he is. No, that's Rob. Sorry, excuse me.
You can see Rudy. This is the perfect place to watch Rudy slide that thing around. He's getting everything out of that car.
Oh, poor Amy.
Amy's out. I don't know what's happened here, but that is not a scheduled stop. There are no stops, but she's back out again. So whatever she wanted to check, they've done that.
They had engine issues at Road Atlanta, so I hope they're not having anything like that creep up for them again. I would hate to see that happen for, you know, the Ruman family. They're an awesome family. They come here and that Nichols Chevrolet Corvette. They're at every Trans Am event. It's a family affair. It's a wonderful group. You just absolutely love the Rumans, and she's a champion. You know, she's a two-time series champion for a reason, and she's a heck of a driver, and love being on the racetrack with her for sure.
So this race starting to settle down. Justin Marks in 5th place. Ahead of him, as Boris said, chasing down Tommy Treacy, Ernie Francis Jr.
Ooh.
Whoa! That was a moment.
Yeah, it looks like Rudy might have a mechanical issue.
Yeah, he slowed quickly, didn't he?
Yeah, and then here, he pulled over for lap.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, he was making sure he slowed down so that the overall leaders could get by. That was a wonderful gentleman move, and Rob took advantage.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was as aware as the man in front of him. So here we go, Pintarek.
This
Simon
battle's
Gregg.
developed nice, hasn't it, Jonathan?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the battle for 6th place. Pintarek holding that position at the moment.
Yep, going up there to turn 6, and you know, Simon, I tell you, when he gets a target on you, Simon is a dangerous person to be behind, to have you behind, because he's got a great attack mode. I mean, when he feels an option, and I do believe Rudy's got a problem as he goes up the hill. That was not just a isolated thing. He definitely has an issue, and that's a shame. He was driving such a heck of a race, Thomas.
If he can get to the corkscrew, he can kind of
coast his way in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Simon's looking good here. He's got some good momentum. He might put a move on David here in the next couple of laps.
It looks like here, yeah, he's got that great run through turn 10, although Pintarek really made a nice exit there. But yeah, he's looking racy. He's looking like he wants to get around him in this Peter Gregg Foundation car. Again, remind you folks, if you're looking for that scholarship, petergreggfoundation.org. It's Greg with 2 G's. Remember, like Andretti's got 2 T's. Greg with 2 G's.
There you go. you practiced that one, didn't you?
Yeah, right. So David Pintarek here on board, you know, trying to keep Simon in that mirror, keep him behind.
Well, you're listening to Thomas Merrill from TA2, and of course Adam Andretti, who's been with us the last few races, enjoying the commentary booth, although he'd much prefer to be out there. But it's a great insight for us, the fans. And by the way, gentlemen, our passion for this kind of racing is around the world. 27 countries currently tuned in.
Well, thank you. I mean, thank you to the fans out there, and we can't thank you enough. We love what we do here. We're so blessed to be able to do what we do here, and hopefully the passion really shines through in what we have, and I'm sure Thomas feels the same way.
Absolutely. We can't do what we do without the support from our fans, and it's so cool that so many people are watching this, and it's the best racing in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you know, I spent a lot of time in Asia and in New Zealand and Australia, and we know that they always follow the V8s there. But TA2 is really starting to make an impact, especially in Australia and even Thailand and New Zealand. It's starting to grow. The interest is there for sure.
Absolutely, and for right reasons, right?
Yeah.
This is, it's financially, as far as a racer's budget goes, this is the most bang for your buck. I mean, the racetracks you go to, the competition level that you're in. We have this beautiful live streaming service that gets to go all around the world, as you just mentioned, Jonathan. So the benefit for the racer is just absolutely massive. The Pirella Motorsports Holding Group and all the people that make this possible, you know, it's Greenlight and the fine folks there. This is what makes Trans Am racing, you know, part of it so great. The competition level is obviously there, but if the world can't see it, Thomas, it doesn't mean anything to anyone.
Absolutely, and on top of that, these are the most fun cars to drive that I've been lucky in my profession to drive a lot of different cars. Right. I have more fun in my TA2 car than anything else I get to drive. It's always a pleasure to race.
Amen to that, because they're still cars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have all this electronic stuff. You still have an age pattern that you have to match the revs with. You still have 3 pedals, folks, at home. You know, we still have those to race with.
Yeah.
3 pedals?
Yeah, I know. It's a novel thing, I know. But yeah, it is true, real gritty racing, and you love the stories in there, you know, and like our guy, our 7-time champ, Ernie Francis Jr. is running second. You're looking at a person that has so much grit and determination, and he works on his own race cars. He drives his own race hauler if it needs to be driven. He is an all-around racer, and he reaps the success from that too, right? And so anyone wants to know Ernie's magic, and a lot of it goes right there with all the things that he does off track to make sure that he's the absolute best out here.
Yeah, and if you want to get behind Ernie Francis Jr., he's going to be on CBS.
Oh no.
We've jinxed him. It's you.
I hate having that kind of power.
So, sadly, as we start talking about Ernie Francis Jr., he has some sort of mechanical issue.
That's a shame, and he seems under power and everything. I don't know. I don't know if he had a tire going down or
is that car crabbing sideways?
It looks like it's crabbing a little bit, right?
Yeah,
like it broke a rear link.
Yeah.
But he sounds like he came down pit road, so I don't know if he was.
That's weird.
Yes, it's a very strange situation for him. I hope everything's okay in the car. But boy, what a shame, you know. And you know, we speak about this. This is for a TA car. This is a hard track on TA cars.
Yeah, I'm looking at the car. There doesn't seem anything broken from the outside anyway. But it looks as though it's crabbing.
Yeah, it's definitely crabbing.
Straight.
Yeah.
So that's got a rear link broke for sure. Rear track bar of some sort is broke. You know, we run a Watts link in these TA cars, so I'm guessing that one of the links for the Watts link has broken on that, having been there before in my day. Usually, I mean, that only happens if you hit something. I know Ernie didn't hit anything, but you know, he might have landed hard on the bottom of the corkscrew. What do you think?
Yeah, could have done. I mean, there's yellow. Oh, here we go. Here's some footage of it.
Just on the straightaway.
Yeah, just on the straightaway. He started to weave, and from there on in, it was over.
I'll tell you though, there's some really big curbs. If you look at some of these shots, you can see a yellow rectangular curb at the apexes, and they're quite high, and they're designed to deter racers from getting in the dirt on the apexes. And if you hit them wrong, you can break something that Ernie may have done.
So he didn't come into the pit lane. He just literally got off the racing line and was coming on the exit of the pit lane and tried to kind of carry on so he could come back into the pit lane because he was stuck then, wasn't he?
Right.
He wanted to get back, and he's going to make it back. But real drama for poor old Ernie Francis Jr., who led the championship going into this one, but it might change. Ernie Francis Jr. started the day with 62 points ahead of Dyson with 52, and Dyson is off to the races now with a chance of catching Ernie. Justin Marks third in the championship, 1 point ahead of Adam Andretti. He won't want me to remind him of that, and Justin Marks is in a good position too.
Ernie back in, so yeah, this is going to be terminal for him. And then I tell you what, for all the Legion of Boris Said fans out there, don't look now, but he is P2 with this problem that Ernie does, so that puts him into P2. And anytime Boris has got a sniff at the front, now the gap is quite great. Now I say that it's 14.5 seconds too from Tyson to Boris Said, but anything can happen here. You know, we saw yesterday in your race, Thomas, a lot of full course cautions that really mixed things up for you guys.
Absolutely.
At one point, you were checked out, ready to go.
Yeah, this place is famous for cautions, all the gravel traps around. So in an instant, we could have a tight battle for the lead here.
So the Breathless team looking up underneath the 98 Future Star Racing Ford Mustang of Ernie Francis Jr. I'm sure they're going right to the middle of that Watts link, it seems.
Well, yeah, it's not looking good at all for the 98.
No.
I was about to tell you that he's going to be appearing on CBS with Tony Stewart, Mark Webber, and a bunch of others in this new SRX Championship, which is, I don't know, pretty interesting.
It's awesome. You know, Poncho Weaver has some hands in that, and, you know, it's a Ray Evernham designed piece, so you know it's going to drive well and do all the things that it's supposed to do. You got all the stars. My cousin Marco is going to be in that as well.
Oh, cool.
I tell you, it's going to be really, really fascinating to watch. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to have a quality caliber driver like Ernie Francis Jr. representing Trans Am in our series.
When are you going to get Marco to join you in the team for
I think
Trans Am
now
team?
that he's like this semi-retired
young guy
driver, you know, I mean, I think I could talk him into coming out here.
Of all the people who want to go winning again, it's Marco.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, I would love to have him out here at the paddock, and I know he would really enjoy driving a TA car with all the power that they have. He loves horsepower. I mean, who doesn't?
Who wouldn't? Exactly, yeah.
Here's on board with Ken Twaits. He's looking good and fresh, even though he ran 100 miles yesterday in that TA race, and driving himself some gears here between turns 3 and 4. Boy, I love turn 4. That's just such a, you know, it's such a tricky flat corner, but you carry so much speed through there. I don't know if there's a corner around here I don't like. This is just such a fun track.
That's true. In my opinion, the next corner he's going to come up to turn 6 is
I love it.
Super fun.
6 is amazing.
Yeah.
No, 6 is my favorite.
Throw it in.
Yeah.
And you've got a little bit of exit, haven't you?
You do.
You've got a bit of little room.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But it can bite you too if you take too much.
Well, they've been real nice here, and they've actually paved that. I remember back in the day that wasn't paved out there, and when you went off, you shot, and it looked like you were going to go off the end of the world.
Yeah, they used to call it the Salinas exit. If you crashed hard enough, you'd end up in the wrong town.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's about right. You're headed straight towards Salinas and the fruit.
This battle between Simon and David has just been phenomenal. This is also a little bit of muscle car battle, right? You know, David Paterick in the Ford Mustang, Simon Gregg in the Chevrolet Camaro, and so you got a little bit of parity here. Same chassis. They both run an Ave chassis from Tony Ave and Ave Motorsports, and so it's the same chassis, but different philosophies, different race teams, and obviously different power plants and body work under them. So this is really an exciting battle to watch on a lot of levels.
All right, we're midway through this fantastic battle here for the TA honors, and at the moment out front it's Chris Dyson, who's having an easy time of it and would love to take home a victory here in California to take back to Lime Rock as we go for Memorial Weekend next time out. But Boris Said is coming. Boris Said is coming as fast as he can, but he's some 16 seconds behind Chris Dyson, and there's always a chance of a caution.
Dyson is setting laps like he had to start at the back again.
Just heard down in the pit lane, Ben is down there as always. He's got Ernie Francis Jr.
I'm just going to ask you what happened. I'm down here with Ernie Francis Jr. It's really loud up here, but Ernie, what happened out there?
Yeah, we were having a good run. Car was really quick. We were just kind of keep the pressure on Chris and wait for an opportunity to get by. And coming out of the last turn, something broke in the rear end. Not sure what, but can't fix it right now, so we're out of the race.
Nice. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, 7-time champion Ernie Francis Jr. You guys may see him up in the commentator booth with you. Future Star Racing. Jonathan, back to you.
I love Ben. He sends everybody he can find into the commentary booth. We only have 3 mics, Ben.
Here we go.
Oh, no!
Here we go.
Oh, wow, it's fire. I think he wants to get out. It looks like he wants out of that car. That door flew open, Thomas.
It did.
Lou,
Yeah,
get out,
yeah, get out there, buddy.
Lou's under fire here. Come on, buddy, get on out of there for us. Get some safety crew out there.
Well, let's hope
yeah.
they...
Lou looks like he's getting out.
He's getting out.
Yeah.
That is scary. Very scary.
Yeah, that's that black carbon smoke. That's when you, like, carbon fiber body work.
And you're going to be breathing that.
Yeah, that's bad stuff to be breathing, and would like to see Lou get out of there, get this thing under caution, and get some safety crew out there to him.
So we've got some drama here at Laguna Seca, here in the middle of our TA race. Lou Giolotti has just gone off track and gone up in smoke. The battle between Pintaric and Greg continues, but I think we're going to be under caution.
Yeah,
full course yellow.
Good, that's really good. Want to get some help out there to Lou. This is going to change things up. You know, Chris Dyson's running a pace, though, that is absolutely ridiculous. So it'll be interesting to see if Boris can hang with that.
Yeah, well, with pace comes tire wear, right? So, you know, the one thing Boris has done a good job of is taking care of his car, and this is playing right into his strategy.
I think
let's have a look at what happened to Lou.
Looks like exited turn 3 there.
What would cause him to go into flames, though?
He's already got an issue, and I think that's what tossed him off in 3.
Yeah.
And you know, he was trying to figure out where his best exit was, and I think he was honestly trying to find a safety crew to be close to, because there's marks on the wall, and we're shown in the drivers' meeting of where some of the best places are to find if you're in trouble like that. So I think that was kind of, but sometimes you're blinded by the smoke too, and it's really hard to find those places. So
Schwitzer's also out in that 00. So all sorts of drama going on in the mid part of this race. Meanwhile, Chris Dyson is catching a breath, and Boris Said is catching an opportunity. Chris Dyson passes our commentary position now, and of course when we restart, Boris Said will be right behind Chris Dyson, because it's Dyson, Said, Dreesy, Marks, Pintarik. That's your top 5. And then Masood in 7th place behind Greg. Oakes has dropped down to 11th. Ruben behind him, then Crocker. Gelotti's just gone off, and Goldman in 15th place. And as we look at Steve Goldman right at the back of this group, there's the Porsche behind him of Eric Joyner. And let's just quickly take a look at who leads what in XGT. Eric Joyner, the man you're looking at right now, is leading the XGT class, and Justin Oakes still leading in SGT. But the competition has just got shorter with Lou Gelotti going off there. And number 13 drifting round, Steve Goldman.
Yeah, it looked like from that aerial shot that it looked like the safety crew had gotten to Lou. It looked like possibly Lou was standing next to or near the car.
Good.
So I'm hoping.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm hoping it as well. So this is me being optimistic here. So nothing for sure, but that's just kind of what I was observing from the aerial shot. I was trying to dissect as much of that.
While we catch our
possible.
breath, gents, give me an appraisal of what you've seen so far. First to you, Thomas.
Well, I've seen Chris Dyson being Chris Dyson. He's out there in front. He's looking solid. He's riding the wave that he's had all season long. The only question mark is his tire wear. You know, does Boris have something for him when this gets going again? And then obviously there's that battle between Pintarik and Greg. They had a hot battle right there before the caution, and that's just bringing them closer together.
And Adam, what about the differences between Boris's Challenger? You've driven the Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
What are the differences between that car and, let's say, Chris Dyson's Mustang?
So the differences that I find in there, is, like I was saying earlier, is the ratios. Dyson is working with the 5-speed sequential gearbox, where Boris is working with a 4-speed H pattern. So just the difference in the ratios, having one extra ratio to go to with these little short shoots, just in the practices I was watching, was beneficial for overall lap time. But where Boris really found his advantage when I was talking with him about it, he found his advantage was going to be over a 100-mile run with tire wear. So just what your point was, Thomas, you know, with that speed that Dyson is running, what is it doing with his tire wear? But I will say this too, something that they figured out on that Outwell CBD Ford Mustang is, you know, at Sebring, he came through the field, which is usually abusive on the tires, at a place like Sebring's that's hard on tires, and he had more tire than anyone left at the end of the race. So it was quite amazing. I'm interested to see how the rest of this one goes.
He did. He really impressed me with both his pace and his tire management at Sebring. If anyone can do it right now, he's the guy. So Boris definitely has his work cut out for him. And let's not forget about Tommy Dreesy. You can never count him out, and this has brought him back in the hunt as well. So this should get pretty exciting at the sharp end here.
Yeah, he is one happy Moroccan behind that wheel that that this yellow came out and closed up the gap, because he's an excitable racer, and he's one of those two that when he's on a bumper, he's hard to get off, and so off that bumper. So he's going to have a little bit of traffic between him with Kerry Hipp, but sharing a racetrack with Kerry for many years, he's very respectful of that, and I'm sure he's going to make life very, very easy. And look who we got up here.
We've only got 3 mics, so some paper, scissors. Bail for a second. We'll get Ernie in here. We'll let him go and rest up. We'll get him in for a couple of minutes. We won't hold you too long. We've just got hot off the track. We've just got Ernie Francis Jr. back in here, and a little bit of disruption in the commentary booth. But Ernie, as Ben always does, he drags people in. it's great to have you. Tell us what happened, because it was all going so well.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's great to be here. Didn't expect to be finishing the race out this way. But yeah, stuff happens out there.
What did happen?
Yeah, seemed to be having a pretty good race. We were chasing him down, kind of just keeping pace with him. And coming out of the last turn, something broke in the rear end of the car. Brought it in, can't be fixed right now. So.
Well, while we're under caution, you're racing his cousin in a couple of weeks in June. Tell us about it.
Yeah, really excited racing in the SRX series, racing in short tracks, ovals, and some stock cars. Something a little bit new for me, so I'm excited to get out there. They even got some dirt races.
You're going to have the advantage over these kids, aren't you?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we
and
never
I say
know.
Kids, you got Tony Stewart out there, Mark Webber.
Yeah, I think I'm the young kid of the group out of all the guys racing out there, but I'm really excited for it. They got some dirt races planned for it, stuff that I've really never been on, so really excited to try it out.
Big weekend for Breathless. You guys have been busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, no, the past week and a half, 2 weeks have been really busy for me. Been in the SRX shop doing some seat fitting and media stuff. And then from there in Indy doing testing in the FR car, and then here racing in Cali.
Shout out to your team. They do love you, and they do look after you.
Yep, I don't think Bill fits in the car very well.
There's nobody that'll fit in your seat,
I don't think so.
I can fit my right leg into your seat, I think.
Yep, that's all Bill can do either.
You look great out there, Ernie, as always. Today it's a shame we don't want to see you up here, obviously. But did you feel like it was a rear axle, or was it like a Watts link or something?
We think it was when we looked underneath, the actual axle tube itself has is cracked in half there.
Oh wow!
So not sure what happened.
That's not a usual.
Yeah,
break,
no.
So.
Yeah, not sure if it was had a fracture in it before and couldn't really notice anything with it. And once it got on track, it was just sheared coming out of the last turn. But yeah, it is what it is. It's something that you don't really expect. Can't really plan for that happening. But yeah, we'll get it fixed up and ready for the next one.
Well, I know the quality of work that you all do over there at Breathless Racing, and I know the efforts that you put in personally, so I know it's heartbreaking on a lot of levels, not only as a driver, but I know all that work that you put in off, we definitely highlight it up here in the booth as much as possible. You're a real champ, and you're great for the series, and again, I know what it's like to be up here when you want to be out there racing, so hate that you had to be up here, but happy that you're able to give us some insight on how it was. How's the track level today? Grip levels of the track today and things like that good?
It feels pretty good today, actually. A little bit better than what it was in qualifying. Sun's out, so track temp's up. We were feeling pretty good. Me and Dyson were kind of just checking out, and we seemed to have a pretty decent pace going with us. We weren't pushing it too hard, trying to just keep the tires underneath us as we were running through traffic, but yeah, track felt pretty good. I think it would have led to be a pretty good race out there.
You guys were looking great. You definitely were on a league of your own. You just took off. You had no threats from behind, and that's what I was kind of guessing, Jonathan and Thomas, that he was sitting there running a pace that you were comfortable with, that you weren't sliding around too much. I know I said that, and then you slid it out of 11.
But yeah, no, I was trying to be as gentle with the throttle as I could everywhere, but this place is just so easy to spin the tires up, and turn 11 is definitely
that's definitely the spot.
One of the easy ones to do it in.
That's definitely
well,
the spot.
Ernie, we'll let you go back to join the team, but before you go, I just want to confirm something. For all the people out there in the audience that think this is a glamour sport for rich kid racers, this 23-year-old will probably be driving the truck back home to Florida, right?
Actually, this is one of the few events where I don't have to drive the truck. Yeah, no, I'm flying back home. But yeah, I drive the truck to every other race.
All right, fair enough.
Yep. He's a special kid in a lot of ways. And,
thank you, Ernie. Appreciate you coming in.
And yeah, definitely, he puts in a lot of effort.
That was the words of our 7-time champion, 23-year-old Ernie Francis Jr. And you can see him on Saturday nights on CBS as he takes on the rest of the world in SRX, a brand new series. Thomas, what are your thoughts on that?
Looks like a lot of fun.
My Crocker's out too.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's that West Coast battle. It's come to an end, unfortunately, prematurely.
Sorry, I stopped you.
But the SRX thing looks awesome, mostly because it's drivers from all different walks of the racing discipline all racing together. It's going to be really interesting to see who starts off strong, who learns better, and how that develops over time. But it's guys like Tony Stewart, Mark Webber, and Ernie Francis Jr. That's a heck of a mix of really impressive talent, driving a lot of different kinds of race cars, all doing something that maybe they're unfamiliar with or haven't done in a while. So.
And you know what? It's good for the fraternity of motorsport, because look at what Supercross has done on a Saturday night. There is a candid audience for motorsport of people that don't go out to the bars, etc., and love to watch their motorsport on a Saturday night. And I think for four wheels, all right, it's different, but the names are good, as you say. I think this could be a really good shot in the eye.
Oh, I think it's really smart. I know for a fact Marco is super excited about to be a part of it, and him and Tony go way back, and I spent a lot of personal time with each other, so I know that that's a fun thing for him. I know Tony's going to go out there, and Tony's going to be tough to beat. You know, I've seen Tony get competitive with the lawnmower, so you know, this is going to be no different. And you know, I've driven with Robbie Gordon in the Stadium Super Truck Series, and I know how fast Robbie is in those things, and I know how Tony's going to come out of the gate in that. So Tony will be the guy to beat, I'm pretty sure. But if any of these cats hang with him and show him something, it's really going to show the entire auto racing, all the auto racing fans and all of us in the sport, just really how talented the rest of the group is out there.
Yeah, they're all racers. You know,
Yeah.
we're all racers. We all want to do as well as we can, and everyone's going to be hungry. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it's going to get pretty serious as soon as the green flag drops.
And you know, with Kanan and Webber and Marco out there, there's going to be some sort of drivers that are either on the periphery of, you know, want to be back in Indy or want to be back in Formula One or just retired from. And I'm thinking like Ricardo and people like that, or even Hamilton in a couple of years going, I might try that.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's going to be exciting. I'm anxious to see how it develops and continues to develop.
Looks like Crocker's back on track.
Yeah, that was a weird deal. He drove into the paddock and then went straight back out in the pits, and you know, maybe hit a reset or something. With the technology you have in some of these GT cars, not like a Trans Am car or TA2 car where we're not allowed it.
Oh, it looks like we got a red flag. This is a bad sign.
Yeah, this is red flag. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. It's going to be a red flag race. Obviously, they're having trouble clearing the race cars off the race track, and therefore there it is, the red flag. So this has been a dramatic race, guys. Not what we predicted at all. We didn't predict that Ernie would go out. Lou getting in trouble, which was kind of innocuous at first and then turned rather nasty.
Yes. And our thoughts and prayers with Lou Gelati right now for sure, and making sure hopefully everything's okay.
What do you know in this situation? What do your engineers tell you? I mean, your stop-start, you don't know what's happened probably.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it's all sort of Chinese whispers at this point.
You know as much as anybody because you're driving around on the track, so you're probably seeing more than what the team knows. The team is looking at what we're seeing is the live footage. You know, so you know, the people that know the most are Lou's own team. You know, if he was in contact with them when things were happening, and the drivers on track. Tommy Dreesy. Online with
Tommy Dreesy, this is commentary again. You're all stopped. What's happened?
We gotta kill it. We gotta kill it. Copy that. What's the temperature?
Tommy Dreesy, this is commentary. You're turning the engine off, is that right?
I dropped it. There's something okay there, man. My engine's cut. I hope everybody, oh man, come on, start, baby.
So Tommy Dreesy trying to get that engine started again, and I don't want to disturb him because he's in a bit of a...
Sounds like he's in big, deep discussions with his team. So, yeah, we'll let him figure out what they're going on there.
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out. Well,
he seems afraid that it won't restart, which is common with these carbureted engines that have a vapor lock on you with the heat and things like that. So I think that's what his concern is. And he's not at enough of a downhill to pop the clutch and be able to pump start it.
Yeah, I hope they can get that thing refired. But this is going to be the hardest part of the race for these drivers because they're sitting there heat soaking. There's no airflow through the car. The car's hot. It's not good for the engine. It's definitely not good for the drivers.
Right, exactly.
On board with David Pintara. This is probably the hardest thing for any racing driver. You're strapped into a metal box in the heat. It's red hot. The tires are red hot. The brakes are red hot. You're red hot. Your adrenaline is flowing. You've been going for 100 mile an hour. You know, you've been going 145 mile an hour, and everything about you is pumping, and you can't move.
Right, it is. This is the racing equivalent to torture for a race car driver.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
I would get claustrophobic in this situation.
Yeah. You can. You honestly can. And there have been famous racers that are claustrophobic, like Tony Stewart. And yeah, he would tell you about red flags being his absolute nightmare out there. So. Yeah, when your mind can't focus on what engulfs you out there driving and everything it takes to drive a race car at its limit, certainly you'll start to dive into some darker places. Ken looks very relaxed. It looks like he wants to.
Has he got a cool suit on?
Oh, he's got a cool suit on. He's got this little drink bottle contraption that squirts in his mouth on timed occasions, and he's got a really trick little system in that car that keeps him well hydrated and keeps him at optimum operating temperature for himself. So. He's got all the goodies in there. That's why he looks nice and relaxed. I would say flip the visor down, take a little nap.
Yeah, he does look relaxed. Good for him. I'll tell you the hardest part about this is not knowing what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
we're all about control from a driver's perspective. And right now we don't have that. We're waiting to hear from our crews or to hear from the series to think, okay, how many laps am I going to have when we get back going again? How long am I going to be sitting here? Is my car going to start when we get rolling again?
When I'm away from motor racing, and I just want to confirm the driver that was involved in that rather scary incident is okay.
Oh, thank you for that. That's great to know.
Yeah, that's good to know.
You just answered the question. When I'm away from motor racing at a dinner party or whatever, and I tell them what I do, and they don't know motor racing, they often say, oh, those guys are crazy. Those guys are adrenaline junkies. And I go, no. The only thing that you could throw at them is they're the control freaks. I said, will never see a racing driver on a roller coaster.
Yeah, I always say that my least favorite thing is a roller coaster because I'm not
no
driving
control.
it. Yeah.
And I've had so many racing drivers in the passenger of my rent-a-car. I had Damon Hill once, and I literally stopped the car and went, I'm not driving you because I know you're a racing driver, and it's just driving you. I can see you braking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get out of the car, and you're going to drive it. And he said, thank you.
Yeah. There was a McLaren Speedtail that was down in the paddock here today, and it's owned by Bruce Canepa. And,
oh, yeah.
And,
great guy.
We were talking, absolutely fantastic man, and we're talking, he goes, and Greg Pickett said, Adam, you ever driven or never been on a ride in something like this? I said, I didn't work so hard to acquire the skill that I have to be a passenger.
Good point. It's a good way of looking at it.
And arguably, my life, I was able to ride with some of the best drivers in the world. So, that's kind of been my thing is, I'm worried about sometimes when I get in the right seat with somebody, they feel like they got something to prove. So we always had the famous line, Thomas, as an instructor, you might know, is don't try to impress me because you can't. Don't try to scare me because I already am.
Right, exactly.
That's a very good point.
It always feels faster in the passenger seat.
Always.
That much is for sure. And it's definitely a scary place to be.
And it goes back to the control freak, right?
Yes.
It goes back to your no controls over there, and other than a handbrake possibly and a steering wheel, and at that point it looks like you're sailing a boat before you go into the wall.
Right, yeah.
So we are in red flag situation here in our TA car. You're listening to Thomas Merrill and Adam Andretti here in the booth. Jonathan Green with you, and we're sorry we can't bring you any action at the moment, but we've had two quite major incidents, and so we have come to a red flag stop just at turn 3 at the moment, which is excruciating for the drivers, and we've just been hearing from two drivers telling us what it's like to be in a red flag situation, which is not very comfortable at all. It's somewhat claustrophobic, it's somewhat hot. It's absolutely no fun because all they are literally designed to do, these humans that race, is go fast, and when they're stuck, strapped in, doing nothing, and not knowing what's next, because as you say, the other factor is a control factor. They like to be in control. I know it well. I'm more than happy at the controls of a car, but don't like to be not at the controls of a machine.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like to me the reason for the red flag, given the fact that Lou is good and healthy, and that's great to know, Lou got that thing really buried out there, and it looks like they got the track blocked just to even get him the Corvette out of there. It looks like it's loaded on the flatbed. The track looks to be getting clear, so I would anticipate that they're going to get these cats to fire up here soon, and we'll get going.
Totally, and hopefully the crews are letting the drivers know that Lou's okay, because I know that's the one thing that'll make them feel better at this moment, is knowing that the driver got out and is okay.
Absolutely, because I know the look that you and I gave each other, when this thing went red. We were hoping, because we never really got confirmation that Lou was out of that car, and but great work, and thank you, Trans Am, for letting us know, too, that everything was okay.
David Hoots, the race director, will be using all his 30 years of NASCAR experience to make sure that the show goes on, or at least the right call is made in the right appropriate time. But this is hurry up waiting, as they say in motor racing.
I've been really impressed with David Hoots. He came in here very humble. He doesn't know the road racing stuff. He even said that to me. I'm still learning the road racing, but he's brought in some of his philosophy that's really paid off and worked. I love his calls that he's made from the booth so far. They've been, concise. They've been fair, and so I'm really enjoying his time so far as our chief steward and
I
race
think
director.
He was excited to get. I did a long sort of fireside chat with him before the season started, and I didn't know him, but I obviously knew his history, having done the research, and I wondered how. And he was genuinely really excited about a new challenge, and also maybe what he could bring to it from his experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like engines are fired, so this is good news. Kenny's got his car fired up, and I know he wouldn't do that unless he was told. So
how's Tommy's car doing? That's the question I got.
That is the question.
Is his car running?
I see Jonathan here maybe priming the radio to see if he can fire up a question. But Ken Thwaites in the Franklin Road Chevrolet Camaro. If you're ever in Nashville, Tennessee, on Main Street there, they got the Franklin Road store. It's a great place to go and find some really nice premium men's clothing and things of that sort. I know if you like the way you see Ken Thwaites dressed, I promise you that's what he's wearing. He's wearing Franklin Road apparel. So, but really, it's such a nice man. I've known Ken for a long time. I've worked for his other company, PDI, which is a drive company, and done a lot of good stuff.
Tommy Dreese, this is the commentary again. How are you getting on? Have you got it fired up?
Yeah, we're good.
Long delay, Tommy. Do you feel any different?
Long
now?
delay, Tommy. Do you feel any different now? How are you going to approach this?
We had a little, out of nowhere, got a little bit of brake fade, so not as fast as we could be, but get a chance to cool the car down, cool the brakes down. And then me and Boris had a pretty good fight. He got into me. I guess they called it a racing incident. So, tit for tat. I'm going after Boris because I want to get by him as fast as possible before that 20 car gets too far.
Start your car up, Tommy.
Got you, buddy. Got this car started. Car started.
Yeah, Tommy, this is Adam Andretti here. You were looking really good out there, bud.
You were looking really good
It
out there,
looked like you were gaining on them, and then it seemed like things got mixed up there, and you lost that gap. But it looks like you're going to be able to start right on the back end above that Boris. You got Kerry Head in front of you. I don't know if you guys have talked to that team and to see if he'll allow you around, but I know Kerry's a very fair racer, so he should let you by pretty quick if not.
Catch up to me. So, here we go now. My brakes are cool. I'm hot. And I'm going after that green car.
Sounds good, Tommy. Well, we're up here rooting for you. Put on a show for us, my friend, and look forward to seeing you after this thing.
Talking live to Tommy Dreese. It doesn't get any better in motor racing terms. What a great, fun thing to do. Tommy is such a character that he's willing to do that in the middle of a race. He had problems firing up. Talking about brake fade, tell us a little bit more, guys, about what he was dealing with.
So yeah, like we talked about, these are big, heavy cars. It's a little bit of a warmer day than we've had all weekend long, and this place is hard on the brakes with the hills and the hard braking zones that they have, especially downhill there into turn 2, the Andretti hairpin. That's a really hard place on this, and he seemed like for a while he was tucked up in some traffic, which won't let the air get all the way into those brake ducts like you want. So this was a great time to let those, like he said, cool down, come back down to temperature, and then he should be able to fire up. What do you think, Thomas?
Yeah, this has become a sprint race. It went from kind of a save your car to the end to, okay, now we've got a timed race, I would imagine, to the end of this race. Everyone's thinking about how long am I going to have to use what I've got left. And some of these guys are going to be going full bore, using everything they have to try to make up positions here on the restart.
And we also know racing, right? Cautions can breed cautions, so we don't know if this is going to be the last one. And there's a lot of excited racers here. You got David Paterick, who looks like he's ready to charge onto the back of Justin Marks there. And then this battle that's getting ready to start looks like we're getting ready to go green.
Here we go. And they come towards the strike now. Away goes Dyson. Boris said cuts away well. Dreese's got a good start. Dreese's done exactly what he wanted to do, and he's right there with Boris said, and he looks to the inside. But Dyson takes the lead. Dreese's going to look up the inside of the Dodge. Can't quite do it, but he's in the mood, no question.
Paterick got a great start too. Got around Justin Marks right here under the bridge. Picked the right lane to be in, and
got
a heck of a start right there.
Yeah, great.
Whoa, Masood.
Masood doing a little dirt track. Another sprint car driver in our mix here. So no, did a great job there to make sure he keeps it on the track. Paterick giving some clear racetrack, and he wants to charge after that top 3. He can feel it in him.
26 of the 45, 32 minutes remaining in this TA race here. Welcome our fans of Trans Am around the world to this very dramatic race. We've had all sorts going on, and it's certainly not over yet as we're on board with Simon Gregg chasing that Corvette.
Boy, Tommy is doing exactly what he said he wanted to do. He wants to get around that number 2 car, Boris said, before that 20 car set sail. So looks like Tommy's got a good run up the hill here, boy.
Yeah, watch out, Boris. But Boris is strong in the brakes. Look at that. Wow.
And they're much closer to Dyson than they be.
From driving those Honda Weaver cars, we have the same one, or ECC Motorsports has the identical car that I've driven. And the braking system is a prototype braking system on the car. I'm going to tell you right now, Thomas, You go till you see Elvis and then another 10 feet. and you got more than enough time to the corner. So it's an amazing brake system from Pro Systems, and which have been a great group to work with. Dennis and his gang. So I'm not surprised that you're seeing what you saw into the braking zone, Boris.
So we are racing again. David Panterick in that Ford Mustang got a great restart. He's there in 4th position at the moment as we go back on board with him through the Andretti curve.
Yeah, David having a great race. You know, this is beyond David's expectations, I think, at this point in this race. He was looking just to itch into the top 5. He's sitting 4th and has an eye shot at the top 3 right there.
Sure.
He's driving great. Look how smooth he is. He's hitting his marks. He's driving that thing really, really well right now.
He really is. Really happy for him. He had a lot of energy this weekend. He was feeling good. You know, we had lunch yesterday. He sat down as a group of us with Simon and Boris and himself, and it was just a really fun, jovial time, and he just looked really balanced. Like he was feeling good in the race car, feeling good outside of the race car. And the results are showing right here as he's sitting P4 and pulling a gap on Justin Marks is no joke.
Well, the other question is, can Justin Marks recover? Because he made a mistake for sure. Of some sort. We didn't actually see what happened, but he dropped a couple of places back, and now can he regather after that stop?
That's the thing, you know, he's so good. You know, I didn't notice, I wasn't around, but my team was telling me how he slapped off the wall in Road Atlanta in the wet there, and he kept going to finish that sucker on the podium. So the guy's got just such tenacity, and so I think he's got a short-term memory when it comes to a mistake. Like he doesn't let it eat him up too much, which is a big deal as a race car driver. You can't let yourself dwell on those mistakes.
Well, that's another thing I've learned from watching you guys over the years, is that presence of mind. They always say, you know, with your guru, you gotta be present. But what that really means is the past is gone. If you start worrying about it, and we all do,
yes,
you ruin yourself because you can't concentrate.
No, you miss the next corner, and then that corner's blown, and then if you're that guy, a driver that's that weak that the mistakes affect you, then that mistake is going to affect you, and it really just snowballs. So it's about just having, again, like a quarterback that throws an interception, they got to go out there and throw the ball again right away, or else it just starts to compound. So it's the same thing for a driver. You got to really let the mistakes flow, because you're going to make a lot of them. You know, as a driver, you're going to make mistakes all the time because we're perfectionists, and so we never feel like we run the perfect lap. So if you sit there and harp on it, it'll certainly destroy your race. So these cats here are such great professionals. We're not seeing that. This top 3 race is going to be a good one.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a cracker, isn't it? And there may be one more twist to it too. So Masood and Simon Gregg in battle right now as they head up the hill, up the Ray Hall straight.
Masood's been doing a little bit of mirror driving. He's worried about Simon in the mirror there, and he rightfully so. Simon's a bit quicker, but Masood's been making a little of these minor mistakes, getting on the power a little bit too soon, but been recovering amazing from it. So I know that he had a great run at Sonoma last week.
Yeah, he got second place.
Yep. And talking to Chris, he goes, my teammate is ready for Laguna. And he's showing it here. You know, he's sitting 6th right now, so just outside the top 5 and having a great run in this national group.
He's driving the wheels off that Mustang right now, trying to stay ahead of Simon Gregg. But I bet Simon Gregg's frustrated because he lost a number of positions on that restart. So he's trying to get those back.
That's right, yeah, because Simon was right there with Dave and Panterick. They had a great battle going before the red flag happened, and now Panterick's up there in P4, and Simon's back here trying to have a race here with Masood.
This is good. This is good cat and mouse stuff too. Simon braking very late into Andretti. Here we are at 3, and again it's the dab on the brakes.
And the top 3 is just like perfect gaps.
Yeah.
Right there, 1st to 2nd, 2nd to 3rd. Looks like they're putting just enough pressure on Chris that Chris is running a pace, but it also looks to me like Chris has also kind of backed his pace off a little bit. He's down in the 28s where he was clicking off 27s like they were going out of style before the red flag, and now he seems like he feels he could control the pace at a 28 and not burn his stuff up possibly.
Well, Tommy Dreesy was the fastest of those 3 on that last lap. He's improved the most since that red flag of that top 3, so I have my eyes on him.
Agreed, yeah, absolutely.
Great drone shots here high above the Laguna Seca Raceway, and here we are in the bright sunshine of California. Round 3 of the TA Championship for 2021. We have got through the pandemic as best we could, as everybody else has, but we carried on racing as much as we could in 2020, and we'll do the same again in 2021. And Tommy Dreesy, we're on board, getting an insight into his race, saying he's got a bit of brake fade, and he was worried about getting a restart to his engine, but he said his plan is to stop that Dago yellow car in front of him.
Yeah, he's definitely in attack mode. You can tell by the way he's driving. He's getting deep into the brakes. There's no short shifting or anything, no early lifts. So he's definitely getting the most out of that Lucas Slick Mist Chevrolet Camaro, and they're definitely going after that, you know, the Dodge Challenger up there, the Poncho Weaver, that Technique DEI Dodge Challenger. He's after that one for sure. And, you know, this place is a challenge, but Tommy's the kind of guy, he'll make a move. He'll make a move in the place that you least expect him to.
Yeah, he looks like he feels like he can get up front and battle that 20 car up there. And once again, he was the fastest car of those three that last lap.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you're wondering where Ernie Francis Jr. is, well, sadly, he had a mechanical and is out of the race. We had him here in the booth a moment ago, but he'll live to fight another day. But his championship could be waning in terms of championship lead. He had a 10-point lead coming into Laguna. That will disappear.
Yeah, this is such a tight championship. It's tough to have any problems, but you got to expect in the world of racing that you don't go a full season without having at least one throwaway. So if this is Ernie's throwaway, you know, he's been racing a long time. He gets it. So what a great race here between David Paterick and Justin Marks, too. This has become a great battle.
Oh, Paterick made a slight mistake there, going a little deep into 12, and that's just going to play into the hands because the drive is with Justin for sure. And he's taken the advantage and takes the inside. Goes onto the pit lane for a minute. Now goes to the outside. Try to do the switchback.
That's a tough move to make. There's a lot of rubber bits on that get thrown offline there, and so Justin's probably picked all that up on his tires. You can see he doesn't get a good exit. He's probably got to clean those tires off before he can make another run at this.
Yeah, it's so hard to get offline here, isn't it? You know, Thomas, with all the sand that gets blown around, and you know, you got to be so precise. We were talking earlier, like the beginning of the race, you saying your favorite move outside in the Andretti hairpin, because that's like the only place. Because people make mistakes so often that it cleans off the outside. So it seems like you always have a second lane down there at the hairpin. Up here, turn 5 to turn 6. This is definitely one of the gems of the track. You know, this is, you know, the lead up into the corkscrew, but and the corkscrew is obviously what everyone knows in the world, but as drivers, we love getting through turn 6, as you alluded to before, Thomas.
Down they come.
Full credit to David for holding his own here in 4th place. He's driving that car really well right now, under a lot of pressure from Justin.
He is. The only mistake we've seen is that little bit too hot into turn 11, and, you know, Justin wasn't able to capitalize. David kept a great job of not letting that work on him and making sure that he got the power down smoothly and didn't let it upset him, and that was a perfect turn 11 right there. Good exit.
Yeah, nice job.
Yep, he'll get himself some nice drive here. Yeah, Paterick's looking relaxed. Look at him, nice soft touch on the wheel. Looks like he's maybe even has the visor up a little bit, getting some fresh air in, keeping that inside line tight, letting that drift out, come back and hit the second apex on the bottom of that hairpin. Out of turn 2 into turn 3 here. Turn 3 could be a tricky one too. So many people drive off here, as you know, Thomas, and then makes it really dirty on the exit there. Take us over from turn 4.
So turn 4, big sweeping corner, all about the exit. Got to get your speed down to turn 5, which is a popular passing zone. So a good exit is the best defense for David there. Late on the brakes, quick downshift, back to power, climbing that back up the hill to turn 6.
Keep going, boys. I'm loving it.
At turn 6, Thomas and I won't be able to say enough about turn 6. And hitting this corner, when you hit it right, boy, it feels like, you know, just feels like you've had the best day of your life. So you hit that one right, you get that drive up here, the corkscrew, where it looks like Justin wants to make a move. Will he Zanardi it? Will he Zanardi it? Come on, give us a shot.
Oh, no! Well, that was going to go 2 ways. He was either going to pull off the perfect move or make it a disaster.
Yeah. David's going to be stuck. This will be a full course caution, unfortunately. Oh, man, 2 great races there, just put kaput. So, I mean, how many times have we seen that up in the corkscrew there, Tom?
Yeah, that's an easy mistake to make, and you know, full credit to Justin for trying to make the move, and David's trying to defend. I think that's a racing incident there. They're 2 hard racers going after the same piece of racetrack. There's just not a lot of real estate up there.
Take it away, boys.
Yeah, it looks like it looked like Justin had already lost it, like under braking had already lost it and got into the side of but like you said, a racing move. These guys, there's very few places here at Laguna to get a pass done. That's one of the places. And Justin tried to make a move happen. We're racers. You're going to try that. But unfortunately, it didn't work. Ruined a couple of races. And we got a full course caution here because David Paterick and that Kreider Racing Ford Mustang is unfortunately beached at the top of the corkscrew.
Yeah, and Justin's got some great sponsorship, but that is Coke Zero for the day.
Yeah, I know, that's true. That was
Couldn't resist it. Oh, my word, everybody's going crazy.
Well, you get to the top of the hill there, and if you don't respect the yellows...
Yeah.
Well, you won't know that they're there, will you?
Yeah, it's going to be completely blocked.
You can't see them, yeah.
You have to. This is a racetrack that when you see a yellow flag up at towards the corkscrew, you have to respect it.
Yeah,
you have to go there, and you have to tippy-toe into it, because the last thing you want to hit is a parked car, and then actually the very last thing you want to hit is a human being, and then the second last thing is a parked car and one of your competitors. So, you know, to respect the yellow flags is very important, but to respect the yellow flags when it's coming up on a blind spot is imperative.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the most slippery brake zone on the whole racetrack.
Let's take another look.
Inside for the David, you really can't see where the positioning, but he already had the corner. He had already committed to the apex, so I think that's what Justin maybe bound up on the brakes and had lost control of the rear.
And it looked to me like Justin realized as soon as he made the move that the door was already closed. He did everything he could to slow the car down, but yeah, that's a tough one for David. It looks like he's disappointed.
He's out of the car, actually. He feels like his day is done, you know, and honestly in these sprint races, when you're looking at 12 laps and 20 minutes left, after the run he probably does feel like his day is done. So, you know, me being right there with Justin Marks in points, this doesn't work horrible against me.
It's a good day for you.
You know, and not to be selfish about things.
No, hey, you're a racer driver.
You are a racer.
I know how you think, and you're thinking exactly right.
I mean, I'm going to just go ahead and be honest with the audience.
No, I'd much
prefer
prefer
that if I wasn't sitting here in the booth and going through my mind, I wouldn't be the racer that I am.
You are an Andretti.
Yes, I am. Proudly, very proudly. But yeah, and I tell you what, Tommy Dreese, he's collecting his thoughts under this caution. He's feeling like this was playing right into his hands. And, you know, he's got 20 minutes of this thing left to just go ahead and make something happen, too.
Yeah, you know he's feeling good. He fired off really well in that last restart, and he's going to be forced to be reckoned with here when we go green again.
I think it was talking to Adam. He's got him fired up.
I think so, yeah. I hope so. You know, he's so much fun to be around, and he's got so much family and friends here. I mean, when he came out of the truck, you know, you would have thought like Willie Nelson was coming out to play a concert. I mean, the guy was getting cheers and from all over, and they were, you know, pictures and the whole bit. So this would be a huge win for him in a lot of ways. Not only for his points championship, since he had such a rough road Atlanta, but also just for the fact of all the support that he has out here. That's what. Yeah. I mean, like you yesterday, I'm sure you had everybody and the brother out here
absolutely.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I had everybody I could get. Obviously, this event's not open to fans, but I was able to get a few of my closest friends and family on my crew list so they could be a part of the action.
Right.
And it's always special to race at home. That's for sure.
It truly is. I mean, it's the best feeling in the world to me. I mean, we've only got to run a few Trans Am races in Indianapolis, but by far, and I've never had a great run, one podium there, but it's special. It's just special to be there at home, sleep in your own bed, have your friends and family there. It's just really a cool thing to have.
So we're under caution here with 18 minutes to go. 34 laps of the 45. I'm doubting that we'll get to complete the 45 laps, but we will have hopefully maybe 15 minutes of racing after we clear David Tarrick's car out of the way. Justin Marks' car has got going again. Simon Gregg, we're on board with him. He was having a great battle with Masood, who's just in front of him in that blue and white tequila-sponsored car. And we're looking forward. We haven't really had a lot of chance to talk about Chris Dyson. He's got new sponsorship for the West Coast with the Atwell CBD group, and he's done a good job for them so far. He's had more television coverage than anybody.
He's doing an incredible job. I mean, he's like we've been talking this whole race about how inspired he is driving, and he loves it here on the West Coast. They've got a lot of family history here with their with the Dyson crew.
You know, there's no crowd here. I've just seen a Mercedes, a couple of McLarens.
Yeah, this is a Lamborghini.
Yeah,
and
it's getting interesting over there.
It certainly is. It certainly is. And then you got the 5 Series BMW wagon. You know, to go ahead and throw it in the mix. But
yeah, why not?
But if you know, as I quickly do my math here, with 10 laps to go and the lap time it takes them, this has become a timed race, unless they went green the last time by, and they did not. So this has become a timed race by my math, and that's, like yesterday, makes things a little bit more interesting. You know, it puts a different kind of pressure on you as a driver, doesn't it? When all of a sudden you see it as a clock and not a lap time.
It's definitely going to add some urgency to the whole process for sure. And Chris right now, he's been ice cold all race long, so I think he's going to fire off well. But we know Tommy's going to be getting after it. knowing that it's a timed race.
You can hear the rocks rolling around in Tarek's car. On the onboard.
David's doing the gravity challenge back down the pit lane.
Yeah, and he's not in any interest to get back in this race. He doesn't even have a helmet on, so he's just rolling this thing down under no power, just to take it and get it out of the way and watch the rest of this race from one of these seats over here in the infield. But hate it for him, like I said, one of the nicest guys in the paddock. You always see a smile on his face. I don't know after that incident, if you will, but you know, for the most part, you always see a smile on that man's face, and a jovial guy to be around for sure, and fun to have. But back to Chris Dyson, I just seen something in him this weekend, and really all year long that has been special in his eye. He's got that kind of that determination that you see in a racer, and even this weekend, you know, he and I we've got a great friendship, and didn't spend a lot of time talking. He wasn't about a bunch of chit chat this weekend. He had a goal in mind, and he was to go out there and do exactly what he's doing. I imagine he's going to be full of chit chat after this race if it goes the way we think it's going to go. And his group right here, they've been together a long time, that Dyson group and CD Racing, and they're just a wonderful, wonderful group of men and women.
So now he would just claim that he never gets a word in edgeways with you.
Right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Tracy's got a great restart here. He's making a move already on the Boris
Oh,
side.
it's tight. Go on, Tommy.
Wow, that was close.
Yeah, Boris closed him down, but it was good racing. Now
Boris
Boris
making
in the
the
lead.
lead.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, Boris is
hold on
forcing
to it,
his
Chris.
way through into the lead, and Dyson won't like that, and here comes Tommy.
Chris is going to make a response right away. He's going to have to respond on that right away, and, you know.
Well, hang on, guys. Was that a fair move?
That's in that gray area. Where,
It is, isn't it?
But Boris did a great job on the brakes. There was a lane there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I look at it as a racing incident. It's not what Boris wanted to do. Boris had no intention to go in
No,
there.
he's not a bad driver
and
at all.
knock him around, and but I think
Go on, Tommy.
he made his response. Wow, it doesn't.
I think Dyson's got
wrong.
problems.
Yeah.
Chris have a problem? Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe there was a problem that
I'll tell you what, there'll be no chit chat now.
No,
He
there
ain't
won't
going to be
be.
talking to anybody because
Oh,
that
that's
was his
unfortunate.
race, and he's just been taken out of it, frankly. Whether it was by accident or not, it's happened. And Dyson, I think, like I said, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, both of you, but I'm interested to see how you call it. Will the stewards surely look at this and go, he's had a race taken away from him?
Possibly, if they deem that the incident, that contact caused a problem. I don't see where it would have. You know, I think that there was another problem before that incident that allowed Boris to get that run. So let's face it, Chris Dyson has been on a league of his own all day long. But Boris is showing pace right now that he has not shown all day. We talked about his strategy, how he's going to keep some tires underneath him. And you look at him now, and he is a man on a mission.
I got to say, would I be wrong in saying that, oh, yeah, he's in.
We have a flat tire.
That's what it is.
So
He got a puncture.
Yeah, so that flat tire would have happened from the contact, and the stewards will look at that.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yes.
But talk about a man on a mission. Tommy's already won one race in his own Camaro today. His historic Trans Am race. He's gonna hunt Boris down, and it's either gonna end up in the gravel or a win, isn't it?
It could be tears. It could be tears or jeers. One of the two. But
Either way, it's going to be great for us. It's
Yeah.
gonna be really exciting finish.
And we can talk to him.
so this also puts, I believe it puts Masood and Greg in a battle for the last podium position.
Right.
And I believe Simon might have just got it. So Simon Gregg
Yes,
in the
he
Peter
does.
Gregg Foundation car just threw that thing up on the podium, and he has got Tommy Dreese in his sights. And these two are teammates over at Burton Racing.
right.
So there's a lot of good fun.
There you see
That
it.
there's some internal pride there, between teammates. You always want to beat your teammate first, and then everyone else second.
You know, I stopped for a coffee on the way in this morning, and I talked to Chris's team, and I said, how are you feeling? And he said, you know what? We're feeling good. Everything has gone as planned. We've just got the strategy is there, the car's running well, the weather's perfect. We've just got to execute.
That's it.
Shout out to Eric Joyner in that Porsche, running up there in the top 6 in his SGT. I don't know if you guys have had his Good Boy Bob coffee that he's got in the paddock. Unbelievable coffee. I'm a huge fan of that.
There's been a line outside of that coffee. Yeah, absolutely. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much for supplying the coffee. It's been brilliant.
My wife Tabitha would have been all over that, but I'm not the coffee drinker in the family. But I've heard great things, and like Jonathan said, the line has been amazing there. You see a line there the whole day. But on board here with Ken Thwaites here going through turn 4.
12 minutes to go. 38 of the 45 gone here at Laguna Seca.
Ken getting there to turn 5, coming up the hill a little bit here to turn 6 on his approach. He's fighting off Eric Joyner right now, and that's a battle for, I believe, it looking like 5th overall. Yeah. And I know Ken Schwaitz, if he finishes top 5 in TA, he is going to be absolutely over the moon. I know that he had targets set that were not at a top 5, so for him to be there in front of the likes of an Amy Ruman and people and drivers of that caliber, I think he's going to be so satisfied with his day.
Well, and let's not forget, these two are old sparring partners in XGT from last year.
Yeah.
So, you know, Eric Joyner's going to have a point to prove if he can get by him.
Yeah, I never even thought about that, Thomas. That's a really good point that you make there. Is they have some history there from the other class here within the Trans Am series. Simon has pulled a gap there on Masood, so looks like Simon and that Peter Gregg Foundation's got some clear sailing, and what a wonderful run for them. And
well, Eric's got those lights stuck on.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to get his attention, right?
I always love that. Total intimidation factor.
It is funny, like they'll wear those beam lights out. They'll just absolutely wear them.
Don't you just grin when somebody does that to you? Because they're the one getting annoyed.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I feel like they use more energy than I am.
Yes, and they have to do. They're thinking about something else.
Exactly. So it's never bothered me. It's always been a kind of an entertaining factor, like you said, Jonathan. So Justin Oaks there, he's leading in
SGT,
SGT, and he's 8th overall, and that's a great run for them. And their drone sponsorship car there. Drone Works, I believe, is what it's called. Yeah, correct. Drone Works, Chevrolet Corvette. So it's a good looking ride there. Love the livery. It's a really sharp looking livery.
Nice, So just 10 minutes to go in what has been a really, really interesting TA race here this afternoon to close out the weekend here at Laguna Seca. Boris said didn't expect, as he rolled up in his 540 BMW, because he sells them in the week, that he would be in the position he is in now, given that he was dealing with, gear ratio issues and didn't qualify as well. It wasn't himself, was he?
You know, he felt great in the car. He felt the car was driving well. He was doing a great job driving. They were struggling on the ratios. They changed, I think, the rear gear on that thing 3 times. But that's Pancho Weaver's style. He's never going to rest until they get that thing just right for their driver to give them a chance at winning. And he really felt like no matter what, you were not going to talk him out of his strategy. And good on him, because his strategy was dead on. It's great to know Boris. It's great to have his ear, because you can learn so much just from talking to the guy and having those conversations. And I definitely learned a lot from that conversation right there, because he has executed this strategy to absolute perfection so far.
Now, I'm interested in this battle because it's the battle for SGT, but didn't we see Rob Crocker go off?
We did see him drive through the paddock and then come through.
But I'm looking at the lap chart, and they're both on lap 38.
It was under caution, so he may have been able to get away with that.
Yeah.
Ah, good point. Well, the battle is on again, and in terms of the lap times anyway, it's a battle for the win.
This is fantastic. SGT. Yeah, no, this is a fantastic battle right there. Coming down to the wire, and this is not going to be a timed race. We're looking at Trans Am at the WhatsApp that they have for us, and they would have told us by now. And you look 5 laps to go with almost 9 minutes. If we go green the rest of this thing, I believe we got ourselves a full 45 laps.
Well, that is another thing that they wanted to make sure this year was to kind of have some leeway with that. They want to see checkered flag racing. They want to see. They don't want it to be a time race. They want to try to do what they can to get the full race in.
And we love Tony Perella for that.
Yeah.
He's the one that really fought to make sure that decision came through. And us as competitors, that's what we want.
Yeah.
We know the race fans want it, but us as competitors, we don't want to win races that way. Winning races with the yellow flag is just no fun for us.
Right. Yeah, good point. So we're watching a great battle here. Rob Crocker, we're on board with him on the Porsche in the number 77. He's chasing down that Corvette into turn 12. Very, very tight indeed. Turn 11, I should say. But there's been an extra turn added with some of the people going off. Here's Chris Dyson. He's back out on track despite that puncher. But a very disappointed man, I'm sure.
Yeah, just such a shame for him, for his race to go that way. P7, certainly not reflective of the race that he had and the way he was driving.
Now,
so
if his team wanted to put an inquiry, as it were, or
I'm sure it's already been done.
Okay. Yeah.
Way ahead of you there.
Sorry.
I'm sure before the tire went flat.
I'm British. I'm polite. After the race, I might just have a word with the steward. I say, old chap. Yeah. That was a little unfair.
Each Trans Am team there is assigned a Trans Am official, so I'm sure that ear was grabbed. right as soon as the call was made on the radio that I have a flat tire. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm sure that is already going into the motions, but you hate to see it come down that way.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
really do.
absolutely.
You know, and I know that David Hoots, our chief steward, has expressed that in almost every driver's meeting. He does not want the race to come down to his decision. He wants the race to come down to what we do on the racetrack, and so he doesn't want to be the guy that says, yeah, we're going to penalize you this amount of time and it takes the win away. That's not what his job is. But if he has to keep order, he will.
Hey, let's go down to the pit lane because Chris Dyson is with Ben Sissel.
Well, I'm with Matt with Dyson Racing.
Oh,
We see Chris Dyson passing us right
He's
now. Matt, what is your driver saying? What happened?
They had a restart there after the yellow flag, and Boris got into him going down into turn 1, and it tore off one of the valve stems on the left rear.
Well, there you go. You heard it right there, right from the horse's mouth. Jonathan, back to you.
Yeah, in the confusion there, I threw down to an interview with Chris Dyson, who is on track, so that would have been interesting. But well done, Ben Sissel, getting that done. Now Chris is racing angry and racing fast. He's just trying to make up some time now, but it's all going to be for naught. But that Mustang is still getting some good coverage. The Atwell number 20.
He's going to salvage a good finish in class, so he's going to get some points out of this. Good on his team for getting that tire on there and getting them back out in the fight.
Yeah, he's currently 7th overall.
Yeah, and Ernie had his problems today, and then so this is what racing's about. It balances itself out, as we've seen so often. Dreesy had such a horrible race, really, points-wise at Road Atlanta. He looks like if things go well for him over the next 2 laps, he's going to bounce back with a good weekend here and finish here. So it's all balancing itself out. You're just gutted for Chris, right? He drove just a masterful race. He really done something not of his doing. So you hate it for him. And like I said before, Boris wasn't trying to make that move in that way. They came together in a racing deal, and we're passionate about this stuff. We all want to win, and only one person can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Speaking of winning, Rob Crocker wants this win bad. His last couple laps have been really, really fast. But that's going to be a hard pass, passing that Corvette. It's got a lot of straight line speed.
Well, Oaks made a mistake coming out of 11 there, and probably gave himself a little bit of a scare himself at that moment there, but that's allowed Crocker to catch right up, and you're right, he is really looking for a chance here with 4.5 minutes to go, just 2 laps to go.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the wire for this Super GT race, and it's a great one here, like you said. Again, you're going to need that Corvette to make that mistake. Like you said, Thomas, it's got too much straight line speed.
Yeah, Rob's doing a great job putting down good laps. The Porsche's well suited here. It's all about carrying corner speed for sure. But yeah, he's just got to keep the pressure on and hope Justin makes a mistake.
It should look right there. I was like, they close up 2 car lengths there right in the braking zone in turn 5 alone from entrance to exit. So yeah, if he gets just seeing if that race will come to him. And like you said, with lap time and horsepower comes tire wear. So with another lap left, he may be losing that.
Well, as we come down to the closing stages, just a quick reminder, Boris said leads this race from Tommy Dreesy. Simon Gregg looking for a podium. We're watching the battle for SGT. Justin Oaks and Rob Crocker going head-to-head. And in XGT, it's going to be Eric Joyner in that beautifully made-up Porsche who's going to win in XGT.
I'm not seeing anything from Trans Am that they're investigating the contact between the number 2 car and the 20 of, between Boris Said and Chris Dyson. So as of right now, they're not announcing that they're going to go through an investigation on that, but who knows?
Well, there's 3 sides to every story, as we know, and Chris did leave him a lane. Boris did get in there deep. I tell you, the one person I don't envy is David Hoots right now.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, an inch either way, and he wouldn't have hit the tire; he would have just hit the bodywork.
Right, exactly.
So,
yeah, it's one of them.
That's
one of them freak deals. We got a white flag out here for Boris coming across the line.
Last time out, a 1:27.9 from Boris, a 1:27.9 also from Tommy Dreesy, so he's on the pace. He just can't close the gap to Boris right now.
I am shocked, as I think you are, Thomas, that the pace was a 1:27 the whole race. I mean, if you wanted to be up front,
really good.
You were cracking off 27s, and I mean, it has not slowed down. So this is a great attribution to Pirelli Tire and the tire that they brought us, and these Trans Am race teams and the package that they put together and put underneath these cars. But Boris said has set sail in that Dayglow yellow Technique DEI Poncho Weaver Dodge Challenger, and I don't see, unless a miracle happens here for Tommy, that Tommy's going to get the second place and have a really good points day. For that Lucas Slick Mist Chevy Camaro too, that Burton Racing put together. Burton Racing, what a day for them.
I know.
mean, they're going to bust off a podium here with both Simon and Tommy. I mean, what a fantastic day. Great day for the Peter Gregg Foundation. Again, petergreggfoundation.org, and check them out. Get signed up for your scholarship there. But what an awesome day. I can't wait to see the smile on all these drivers' faces at the end of this one.
Well, it's a home race for these two Californians, and they're going to head down the hill for the last time here at the famous WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. But it's going to be Boris Said, the man who will never retire, even though his son is getting quicker and quicker down the road at the moment. But Boris Said has done it again, not perhaps as he planned, but he'll take it as the Dodge comes across the line to win. And Boris Said takes the checkered flag ahead of Tommy Dreese in second place. Simon Gregg will make it a Burton 2 and 3, and they are delighted with that. Great stuff by them. Hamid Massoud takes fourth place, and Eric Joyner will win for XGT and finish fifth overall. And Ken Thwaites gets a very solid sixth place in TA. Chris Dyson makes some points, and those are going to be valuable come the count towards the end of the season. So well done to Chris Dyson for at least keeping going, but we'll keep you informed. Watch social media, because I've got a feeling there may be a twist to the result of this race, but we will find out before the day is done. And this battle is going all the way to the end too. This is the battle for SGT. Justin Oakes just at the moment holding off Rob Crocker. Oh, down.
You got to give
through
it.
they come.
That was not for a lack of effort there from Crocker. He did a great job.
I think that's it though, don't you?
That was going to be the last chance, and he knew. It was either there or by your time, but I don't think he.
Oh, he's getting closer.
Here I put my foot in my mouth, and
Yeah.
he's got a good shot down here to turn 11. If he's just going to go and bury the brakes on, no.
No, that's it. All he
tell you.
thought about it.
Oof. Those brakes are got to be toast by now.
Yeah, I think I heard the backing plate right there. So.
At the end of the race, the stewards took a closer look at two incidents involving Boris Said. One with Chris Dyson, and the other earlier in the race with Tommy Dreese. And afterwards, Boris Said was given a 40-second penalty, which knocked him down to fifth overall, giving Tommy Dreese the victory. The result remains provisional, as Boris says has the right to appeal.